somebody's starting a business or they want to dramatically grow the business, they may know what's under their control, but they don't know everything that's going to happen in the future.
Right.
But I still like the idea of having a future direction. How would you get people to come up with I'm going to use the word positive, you can push back, a positive future direction.
Sure.
And then how would you get them to plan? Because I remember when we first started doing this, I really found it useful visualizing I'd succeeded at something, or throwing myself into the future until I'd succeeded it, and then sometimes going further. So not only I had succeeded, but I had succeeded over time. And then from that point, looking at over the challenges and how I'd how I'd overcome them. And I found that tremendously useful. If you're advising people to, how to approach their future lives.
Okay, I'm gonna jump to another part about skill a little bit.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so when people look at their future, first of all, let me just put it this way: I've worked with different people who had some crazy timelines. If you want to, well, that's what I would call them. One guy said to me, "I don't know, my life is full of ups and downs," and I went, "Oh, okay." Now this sounds metaphorical, but I decided to ask him. I said, "Well, what do you mean?" And he said, "I feel like I'm on a roller coaster ride. I got good days, I got bad days." And I went, "Well, we all have that in the kind of stuff. But what are you talking about? My future's like that. I said, "Oh, so you get to look forward to ups and downs all day long, right?" He says, "Well, yeah, I guess that's true." I said, "Show me your timeline." And it went like this. Okay, it went up like the whole shape in his mind of his timeline was like this. Okay, and I said, okay, so we need to help you straighten something out. And that's in my very, very intentional in my own manner of how I do things. I said, so we can straighten this out. And his timeline started to get straighter. I said, I'll make it straight. Let's see what happens. Now, the other thing that happened, and the people will do this, I said, well, how do you know you're going to have good days and bad days in the future? Yeah. Now, remember, a lot of people build beliefs based on their past. That's what we're taught, okay? You learn to believe something based on experiences we've had. Because we go, well, that can happen again. It's happened once to me once. It can happen again, blah, blah, blah. But the fact of the matter is we can change those beliefs. So you ought not be locked into the things that you think are not going to work because they haven't worked before. But how do you format that inside your brain? So here's an example. So if I said to someone, take a look at your future, because I do want everybody to have a positive future. That doesn't mean everything's going to work out. It means you're going to work out. It means how you cope with everything is going to work out and be good. Okay. And you say, well, I see. Let me ask you the question. I could ask anybody who's listening in on this. As you take a look at your future, do you see light spots and dark spots? Some people are going, well, I see some gray spots. I go, I understand that. And there's nothing wrong with that, except if you want to have a positive future, what if you made it all one shading of light? Make it a little brighter, the whole thing, all one shading of light. In your mind, because even our language supports what we're doing in our head, people would tell you things like, oh, you're a really smart kid when we're younger. You're a really smart kid. You have a bright future ahead of you. Well, I tell people they have a bright future ahead of them, because that's going to tell them in their mind to make their future brighter looking. Those are the kind of things. Those are what I would refer to, Michael, as big chunk solutions. It doesn't mean life's going to be hunky dory. It means the other things that you're not in control of are going to happen. Okay. Again, it's how do you cope with it? You can always find the brighter side, or you can always find the more positive solution to a problem. I worked with a guy, this was great. It helped me understand. He was a vice president of the company I was in at the time. And I said to him, oh, listen, I got to tell you something. This is, I think we ought to keep an eye on this because blah, blah, blah. He said, whoa. Is this something that's already happened? I said, no. He said, then I don't want to know about it. I said, what do you mean? He said, I don't solve any problems if they haven't happened. I said, oh, wow. He said, if you're telling me that this might happen, I'm not interested. And I thought that was kind of a little crazy because it might happen. It might happen.
No. Tell me more.
But his approach to managing was, I'm not going to load my brain up with problems that haven't even occurred yet. And the other thing is, because I'll explain this one, not just the brightness thing or turning up brightness in the future. These are things we refer to as submodalities.
Yeah.
It's how close to in your mind, how close in your mind is this situation that hasn't occurred yet. Like you're really planning on it, but it's all based on his timeline stuff. See, you guys have probably heard that out there somewhere. Your past doesn't determine your future. Your present does. What you do in the present moment determines your future. So at the present moment, brighten it up. You know, you want to have a more positive outlook, because that's what people say. Oh, you need to have a more positive outlook. Well, what does that mean? But people can't explain it to you. But if you understand timelines, you can explain it to people.
Okay.